In today's video, I want to chat to you guys about how to work with items on Sage Accounting. Good day, my name is Heinrich Revere from SA Accounting Network, and I've been in the accounting industry since 2008, and I've been working on Sage for many years. In today's video, I want to unpack a little bit with you guys of how to work with items on Sage. It's a bit of a technical video, so there's a lot of content that I need to cover with you guys. Before I get to the presentation, just remember quickly just to give the video a like. Remember to hit subscribe to my channel. And if you find value in this video, then I want you to have a look at the end of this video of how it can help me to contribute towards the work that I'm doing. Let me head down to my computer and I can show you how to work with items on Sage Accounting. Okay, right. Yeah, let me show you guys quickly how to work with items. I think items is one of the things that I'm not too fond of in working on Sage, and I think it's got inherently a couple of limitations. And I think the first thing that I want to mention about working with items is remember that the items part of Sage is very entry level. So what I mean by that is if you're buying 10 pens and you're selling them, then it's fine. But as soon as you start working in any form of manufacturing, then that standard item screen on Sage is not sufficient. You would have to look at the advanced inventory items or module. And what I mean by that, but with the advanced inventory module, they have the function to say that if you, let's for instance, buy 3 items of item A and 5 items of item B, you can combine them. And let's for instance, you produce 17 items of item C, then it incorporates all those costs and stuff into the new items that you're selling. So the item by default is purely just buying and selling stuff, and obviously we'll look at service items as well. Yeah, so let me jump into it. So the item screen, remember that we've done videos, we talked about the customers, the suppliers, the banking, and all that type of stuff. So today I want to focus a little bit about an item. So to start off with, we can maybe start with adding an item. So when you work with items, you have 2 different types of items. And let's maybe start with the easier one. I'm just going to create one that says consulting. So that is just normal services. And you can see that this button over here, you've got a button that says physical or service. So people forget to press this button over here. If you do anything relating to services and you just want to create a service item, then I would recommend using this one over here. You can see that you can put in a default price list. Let's say, for instance, I charge R1,000 per hour for my consulting. I'll just put it into that screen. Then you can see you can adjust the inclusive selling amount. You can see that this is what it costs. We're not going to worry about opening costs because we're just rendering a service. And you can see with your sales account, you have a lot of different accounts over here. We can go create a new sales account for consulting. There's already one over there, so I'm just going to use that one for now. It doesn't really matter. You can use one, just a general sales account. Where's sales? There's a lot of sales accounts here, but you can just use a general sales account. Just leave it inside that one, but it's normally quite nice to keep track of the different sources of income. So we're just going to put it under consulting, so we can then see how much consulting we've done during the month. So this is basically how you would set up your default service item itself. You can see you can put in prices, WA, activities, nodes, all those type of things. It's not really necessary. I think the important part is just this first page over here that you're busy working with. And I'm just going to say save and new. So we create the first item, which is just a normal consulting, a service item. The next one that I'm going to create over here is just an item now. So I'm just going to call it item 1. Item 1. So this second line, the description, is what's going to appear on your invoice. So this time I'm going to leave it as a physical item. You can see over here you've got the option to put in your opening cost to say what the cost is and your opening quantity of those items. There's another place we can do it as well. Actually, another 2 places which I will show you guys just now. But just keep in mind that this is one place we can do it. Now, once again, you can see what is the inclusive selling price and the exclusive selling price. Let's also maybe make it 1,000. And then you can see that your units. So if we, let's say, for instance, items, let's maybe make it kilogram. So that is what we can use over there. You can see a sales account by default, it puts inside sales. We're maybe just going to leave it there now, but you can make it different ones. Or maybe beds might actually be a good one. Let's maybe make it beds. So here under unit, I'm going to say bed. So I think that'll be interesting to have a look at it. Your purchases account, you can see at the moment, there's a lot of different ones as well. By default, it just chooses purchase. So you can leave it as sales, the top one, purchases, the bottom one. And then this is how we set it up for now. So these are the 2 items that you created now. So the first one is a physical item, or the first one was a service item we created. The second one is a service item that we First one was a service one. Second one created over here now was a physical items. So those are the two different types of items that we saved, that we've got on the system. So next step from here. So service items is quite easy to work with because you don't need to worry about buying stuff that you want to sell because you're just creating a service. So it's very straightforward. So if I go to customers, I just want to show you quickly where it pops up. So if I go to customer invoices, and I can create the invoice over here now to say that I want to render a service to somebody for consulting fees, then I'm going to just wait for the screen to load, and I can show you quickly how to do it. So now I'm going to say that I want to add an invoice over here, add tax invoice. Just waiting for the screen to load once again. And then we're going to choose a customer. We'll just choose the first one over there. Don't worry about that notification. So now I can go choose my one that says consulting. So you can see if I say consulting, and then I can say that we're doing 1 hour consulting. Let's maybe make it 2 hours consulting. Then you can see it works out to 2,000 Rand plus VAT, 2,300 Rand. So I'm just going to press save and new. And then I want to show you where this would pop up on your reports. Obviously, it will show that that customer owes you the money. And then the other place where it's going to pop up is on your income statement. And this is what I want to focus on for a minute, just to pause over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say custom date, and we just want to run an income statement just for today. I just want to see where that transaction popped up. So you can see what the effect is of that one transaction that we did. So if I say view report, then now that transaction that we just recorded is going to pop up here on our income statement. They can see there's our one for consulting, 2,000 Rand. So if I click on this one over here, you can see somebody else has been filling on the demo company, which we're busy working on. You can see consulting, 2 units sold, total selling price. There's no cost because it's a service. So if I click on that, then you will see that it opens up to say that it was invoice 18337 for Morning View Bicycles Pty Limited, and that is the information that pulled through from that invoice over there. So that's for service items. So that is not too difficult to work with. Now, the problem that you've got now is if I go, let's say, for instance, we go back to the same customer again over there. Now we're going to say item 1, item, go away. So we're going to say item 1, the one that top item 1. So this one, so you see over there, that little line tells me that I've got 0 inventory on hand, which means that I can't sell something that I don't have. I think by default, it doesn't give you a warning to say that you're selling something that you don't have. So I can record it like this, but now the problem is it's going to show that I'm minus, let's maybe make it 2 beds. Now it will show that we're sitting with minus 2 beds on the system. So the way that you must get those items onto the system is you're going to go to suppliers, transactions, and then you go to supply invoices. So what we then need to do first, before we can actually do the sale, is we need to buy some items from somebody. So we're going to go to supply invoices. We're going to say add supply invoice. So let's just wait for the screen to load over here. We say that we're buying the items from whoever the supplier is. We're going to say item 1, this one over here. You can see at the moment it shows that there's 0 on the end. We're saying that we're buying, let's say, for instance, 10 beds for 500 Rand each. Now we can say save. Because now remember, we're getting the stock or the items onto the system. So if I go back to my invoice, I just want to refresh the screen over here so I can just refresh the data on the system. Then we're just going to say that we want to create the invoice of Morning View Cycles. Don't worry about that warning. There was somebody was fiddling around. Now we're going to go back to item 1. So we can show you quickly item 1. Now I can see it says quantity 10 on hand. So that is what we want. And then maybe, let's say, for instance, we sell 3 beds. Then you can see that now shows our selling price is 3,000 Rand, including that 3,450 Rand, and we record that invoice like that. So now remember, we bought 10, we sold 3, so we're left with 7. So if I go back to my income statement, let's maybe just go back one screen over here. Yeah, so after we've created those 2 invoices, you can see there's our consulting fees one over there, and here's the one for the beds that are sold. So if I click up this sold 3,000 Rand, you can see this is that invoice that we created. So you can see our selling price was 3,000 Rand. We bought them for 500 Rand each. So our total cost was 1,500 Rand, GP 1,500 Rand. So we're sitting with a gross profit percentage of 50%. If I click on that line itself, it will show who the customer was that we sold that specific item to. So let me just run back to the income statement. We're sitting with a small problem. We know that from here, we can see that we sold it for 3,000 Rand. Our cost was 1,500 Rand. But if I look at my income statement, it doesn't give me the same picture. So there's an adjustment that we need to make. And I'll show you guys where that adjustment comes in. I'm just waiting for this to go back, because now you can see under your cost of sales, we've got purchases of 5,000 Rand. And where that purchases comes from is from that supply invoice that we created. Remember, we created this supply invoice over here to say that we bought 10 of those items for 5,000 Rand, excluding that. And this is this line that we're seeing on your cost of sales line of that 5,000 Rand. So in theory, remember, we bought 10 of the items for 5,000 Rand. We sold 3, which means our cost of sales is supposed to be 1,500 Rand, and we're still sitting with 7 of those items left. So in theory, this would be incorrect. So that there's an important journal that you need to pass at the end of every month to make sure what your closing stock value is, because you need to deduct your closing stock value from your cost of sales, because remember, your closing stock is an inventory item, and then you need to put that onto your balance sheet as a current asset to say that you're still sitting with a physical stock inside on your balance sheet over there. So let me quickly show you 2 things. The first thing is how to find that value, and then the second one is how to process the journal for that closing entry. So if I go to items, I'll go down to reports, and you see here's the one that says item valuation. So this is the report that you need to then run at the end of every month. I'm just going to do it for today. And we're just going to look for one item. Remember, we're working on the demo company, so there's lots of other stuff in between over here. But we're just looking for our closing stock value of that 3,500 Rand. So let's quickly see. It should be probably under something like bedding or something like that. You can see that people have been filling on this system over here. Beds. It's got to be here somewhere. Oh, wait, hang on. There's a button that we can press over here to just eliminate a lot of these things. So if I go here and say show report options, I say item exclude items with 0 quantity, so we can just get that out the way. Then we should be able to pick up our item. I think it's listed under item 1. Let's quickly see where's item 1. There it is. You can see we're sitting with 7 beds. 500 Rand each is our cost. So you can see we're sitting with a closing stock value of 3,500 Rand. So there is the journal that we need to pass to get our income statement to match with what's sitting inside that line over there. So the way that you're going to do that is you're going to go to accountants area. You're going to say process journal entries. Let me maybe open it up in a new tab. Let me just close this one over here. So then on today's date, or normally you would do it at the end of the month, you're going to debit your inventory account or your stock on hand. Let me quickly see inventory. Just going to see quickly if they've got an inventory on hand. There we go. There's our inventory on hand. If you don't have that account, then you can just create that account. But this is going to be a closing stock. Closing stock. If I can spell. Closing. Come on. Closing stock. So that 3,500 Rand, we're going to pop it in there. And then under your cost of sales account, there must be an account as well, which is going to say closing stock. And then there is the closing stock amount. And then this one over here, if I click it over there, say markers reviewed, and then I go back to my income statement, I refresh this. Now I can expect to see my cost of sales is 1,500 Rand, because remember we sold 3 beds. So let's wait for it to refresh. You can see there's the 5,000 Rand worth of stuff that we bought. We still had 7 beds left at the end of the month. So you can see our closing stock is 3,500 Rand. So now it matches, because you can see my cost of sales is 1,500 Rand, which is the cost of these beds that we sold over there. So I think that's really important. What then happens with this journal that we pass now at the end of the month, this one over here, this 3,500 Rand one, this one, where's the 6th of April one? Oh, this closing stock one over here. This one we need to reverse on the 1st of the next month. So let's maybe just give it a try. I'm just not sure whether it's going to allow me to do a journal on the next day. So now we're going to have to debit our opening stock value under your cost of sales. This is going to be opening stock, and then 3,500 Rand. And then that same account, that inventory on hand, this one is the one that we're going to credit now to put the journal through. for the 7th of April to show what our opening stock is for the next day. Normally, you would do it on a monthly basis. I just want to quickly see if I can run a report on a day that we're not yet. So let's just quickly see whether it pulls through our opening stock value. So let's quickly just wait for it to refresh. And then we can see. Yeah, so when you work with inventory, there's a little bit of additional stuff that you need to do. So you can see there's our opening stock value. Then on that specific month, you would add your purchases for the next month. At the end of the month, you're going to look at your item valuation report, see what the closing stock is. Then you're going to pass the journal again to take the closing stock out and put it back onto your balance sheet, because that will become your opening value for the next one. So I think this is just the technical part of working with inventory. When you're working with Sage, it doesn't do that automatically. So it's something that you manually need to adjust. Yeah, so let's quickly just run back to the items menu. So I think this is just the theory part that I wanted to explain to you. Like I say, if you just work purely with services, this isn't relevant. But if you work with physical items, you need to do these adjustments over here on a monthly basis. Otherwise, your income statement is going to be incorrect. So let's quickly just run through the items again. So we talked about adding an item. You can see over here's a list of items. So there you can have a look at all the different lists of items that you've done. Then let's quickly see items. We were looking at list of items, item bundles, item categories, transactions, item adjustments. So remember that we looked at that item valuation report. Now, if you run your item valuation report, let's say, for instance, in our situation, we know that we bought 10 beds, we sold 3. So in theory, we're supposed to be left with 7. But if for some reason stock gets missing, let's say, for instance, at the end of the month, you go and count your beds that you've got on stock over there, and you realize that you only have six beds left, then we would need to make an adjustment over here to say that you can maybe say theft. Let's say, for instance, somebody stole a bed from you. Now you can see that the new quantity is going to be 6, and then you press save. So what then happens then, it changes the quantity from 7 down to 6. So this is then what happens. Then you can adjust that quantity that you've got over there. So that's just the other thing that you need to do. Hopefully it doesn't happen often, but you sometimes would have to adjust items over there. Let's quickly just get back to the items menu. So just to show you quickly over there. Transactions, yeah. So we were talking about item adjustments, adjust item selling prices. If you want to change the prices on your items that you're selling for, you can do it over there. There you can go to adjust your item opening balances. Remember when we set up the items, there was that one screen over there where you can adjust your opening balances. So this is the other place where you can adjust it. So if for some reason you never entered it or there was something wrong with your opening quantities, you would then go to item number 1 over here, and then you would say, let's call it correction, and then the new opening quantity you can say is 1, and then you press save to say that you had 1 item in there when you started, instead of if you maybe forgot to enter your opening quantity in there. I think the next thing, just want to wait for it quickly to load, and your items menu. So just the other place where you can load items as well. And there's normally part of your setup. Let's maybe just go to this screen over here just to show you where to do it. As if you go to company and you go to opening balances. So this is the other place where you can put your opening balances. I'll do a separate video on opening balances, but you'll see that here's a block over here, just items. So here you can also put in your own opening quantities and opening cost of your items under the screen over here. So there's 3 places. The one is when you're setting up the items. Other one is an item adjustments, and then this one over here, you'll see that we're going to give you a long list of all the different items, but this is the place where you can set it up as well. Let's quickly just run back to our items over here. So we were talking about item adjust opening balances, renumber item codes if you need to do that. Special is to adjust your opening balances. Yeah, that's what we looked at. Now your report. So this is also quite interesting. So if I go to look at sales per items, and I go look at, I just want to say custom date, and we just want to look at just what happened today, and we look at item 1, because remember, that is what we can probably just run it for all, because I think there shouldn't be a lot of stuff just on today. Let's quickly see. We should have consulting. There's our consulting. Remember, we said we consulted for 2 hours. 2,000 Rand, there's no cost because it's a service item. You can see, but there's item 1, our beds that we sold. We can see we sold for 3 items for 3,000 Rand. Cost was 1,500 Rand. We've got a GP of 50%. So this is a nice report to look at. Let's quickly have a look at the next one, purchases per item. So this is exactly the same thing. We're just going to say that we're going to look at just today itself, because remember, we bought a bed or two. So we can get that items in stock. And you can see there's our supply invoice number 1. We bought 10 of item number 1 for 500 Rand. The total cost was 5,000. If I go back to my reports, customer quotes per item, customer sales order by item, supply purchase order, item movement. Let's have a quick look and see what happened just on today. Custom dates, we're just going to go back to today's date so we can see what movements there was inside my items. So if I look at item number 1, there's item number 1. You can see we made that adjustment of 3. We sold 3 of them. Our adjustment was for 1. You can see there's our tax invoice where we sold 3. We bought 10. So you can see there it shows 6 items. So that is just the item movement report. So if you want to have a look and see what happened in the movement of your items, this is our item valuation. We did look at that as well. So this is the one that you're going to use. Let me just show you quickly once again how this works. So I'm just going to take the ones with 0 quantities out. So at the end of every month, like remember that you're going to pass that journal, and the figure that you're going to use, like I say, you would normally print this out. Have a look and see what this figure is over here. Then you would take this list and do a physical stock take to see how much of these items you have. And then if there's stuff missing, you would have to put those adjustments through, you see. So this is then your closing stock value. And this is the amount that you're going to use when you pass that journal that we were talking about. Let's have a quick look at the next report. Under report, so we were talking about item valuation, item bundle, item quantity. So you can have a look and see what the quantities is of the items that you still have on hand. Yeah, so items, I think when you start working with items, that's the next step when you're progressing with the use of Sage. By default, like I said, I would tell people if you're starting out with Sage, rather not do work with items because of the closing inventory journals and stuff that you need to do. If you can get the hang of it, always just remember that if you're working with service items, mark it as a service item. If it's a physical item, mark it as a physical item. If you're selling stuff where you combine stuff into different products, 2 of item A, 5 of item B, creating 7 of item C, then you have to look at the advanced inventory module, because then the basic item functionality in Sage is not enough. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, just remember to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. See you guys for the next video. If you found value watching this video, then I have a favor to ask of you guys. When you sign up for Sage, I want to ask you, if you look in the description of this video, you'll see there's a link. Then if you click on that link, then please use this link when you sign up for Sage. You're going to put in all your details. I've got it in my basic setup video. I've explained the process. But what I want to ask, if you can just keep my referral code in there, because as a registered Sage advisor, I get some brownie points for the people that sign up using my code. Or otherwise, if you're already registered for Sage, and then I want to ask you a favor as well. Maybe if you go to your profile just to show you where it is. So once you're logged into your Sage account, go under administration, go under my profile. It will take you to the screen. The first tab is your billing information. Then the second one is your billing address and contact details. And this is the place where you can also enter my referral code. If you can do that, I'll greatly appreciate it. If you've got somebody else's referral code in there, please don't take it out and put mine in. Keep that person's there, because he obviously needs to earn his brownie points with Sage as well. But if you do find value in my videos and you don't have a referral code, please enter there. I would really appreciate it. It supports the work that I'm doing for you guys.